Are you a new Etsy seller and you are wondering, how am I supposed to compete with these huge Etsy shops that have like 50,000 sales? I know what it's like to break through the competition and become a market leader in a saturated market. And in today's video, I'm going to give you 5 ways to compete with these big guys without competing on price. And at the end of this video, I'm going to give you one bonus tip that you can implement right now in every single one of your listing photos. Let's jump into it. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dylan Jarrus, and I am an Etsy shop owner of about 7 years. I've sold over $1.4 million in revenue on the platform, and that's over $1 million in profit. My entire background is corporate e-commerce, and I also sell on Amazon and Shopify. So in today's video, I'm pulling together 5 ways for you to compete with the big guys without competing on price. And this is really how to be competitive against those market leaders. And these are things that I've learned in my corporate background, working for places like Zappos and Zulily, along with my time on Etsy, Amazon, and Shopify. If you like videos like this, please subscribe to the channel. It encourages me to keep making more videos. And if you are ever interested in any one-on-one help, definitely reach out to me directly at Dylan Jarrus on Instagram, or you can email me team@dylanjarrus.com. So number 1, change your shop's settings to enable requests for customization. Especially if you are a newer shop that hasn't had many requests for customization, this is very, very important. This setting alone will simply encourage customers and prospective customers to reach out to you. This tells customers that you are flexible and that you are open to recommendations, suggestions, all requests. And this is the start of how we will grow your product mix and your product offering by saying yes to all of these custom requests. The thing is, a lot of the bigger shops who are market leaders, they've been on Etsy for 5+ years. They're doing, over $50,000 a month already. A lot of them are not willing to accommodate requests for additional customization beyond what they currently offer. It's simply not worth their time. And honestly, as a big market leader shop myself now, those little one-off requests that people send over, sometimes they are not worth my time, and sometimes I will turn them away. And we do this because we have so much demand in our Etsy shop that really it's not worth our time to accommodate a bunch of little requests for one-off orders that are like $20, $30 transactions here and there. So I can tell you that yes, a lot of the big guys don't need to accommodate requests like that anymore. They're not necessarily even willing to do it. They might do it if the customer was requesting, 30 pieces, but for a one-off, $20 item, they're likely going to turn away requests like that, or maybe not even be open to customization at all anymore. So one way that you can compete is to have your settings turned on for allowing requests for customization. And if customization intimidates you, it can really be as simple as adding a name to something, an initial, a date, changing the font, adjusting the color, something so small. This does not mean that you have to be commissioned to do this beautiful custom, $10,000 piece of artwork. It can be very simple. The second way I would compete with those market leader shops is to offer sizes that the competition does not offer. So that means both bigger sizes and smaller sizes than those market leader listings. Smaller sizes are important because it usually will allow the price shown on your listing to be lower than the competition who you are sitting side by side in search results. So because Etsy shows your entry-level price point for a listing, it will really help you get traction if you start with one that is lower than theirs. And not only do we want to offer smaller sizes, but we also want to offer larger sizes. So larger sizes are important because a lot of shops simply aren't willing to offer them because they don't want to deal with the hassle of maybe packaging something larger or shipping something larger or even storing something larger in terms of materials. So I always recommend offering a size larger than the competition's largest size because not only will it set you apart, but it will also drive up your average order value. And a higher average order value oftentimes means a higher hourly wage. So here are 2 examples of items that are market leader items. So here is a macrame headboard wall art decoration. It looks like they offer from 30 inches up to 98 inches. And it ships from Turkey, which means the shipping cost is $23 to the US. So what I would do if I was, going up against the shop, especially if I was in the US, I would offer a size that is around 24 inches. So 24 inches and then 30, then 35. I would also potentially offer a size up to 144 inches, maybe to cover the entire span of a wall. And then if this shop sees you gaining on them, then I would consider offering a 20-inch size. So we're not doing a race to the bottom with pricing. We're not lowering our price per item. We're simply offering another option within the listing that is a lower price point. And if push comes to shove and things get really competitive, then I would consider offering these wall mounts for like $9.99 as the lowest price point option in this variation. And for this shop, which is another bestseller, which is wild because there's so much they can do to optimize this listing. They have a 15 by 15 inch size and a 23 by 23 inch size. So I would go in and offer a 12 by 12, and then I would offer a 30 by 30, 36 by 36, 44 by 44, probably all the way up to 48 by 48, just to drive up my average order value. And that type of thing will help you scale to $30,000 to $40,000 in revenue a month much, much faster. The third thing I would do is offer colors that the competition does not offer. So I would look at the market leader listings and I would see what colors they offer. And then I would also look at, okay, what are some trending colors for this specific customer right now? What color trends are they drawn to and might they be looking for as options? And if you're not sure what additional colors to offer, then every time someone orders that thing from you, I would say, thank you for your order, the order recap message, everything that we teach. Then in my initial order recap message, I would make sure to ask if there's any other color that they would like to see this item in and be willing to offer that to them. You can also poll your Instagram followers for color preferences and things like that before investing in new inventory in that new color. Now, if you feel like the market leader is already offering every color, then I would look at what else you could use to differentiate with the aesthetic. So maybe it's the pattern, maybe it's the font, maybe it's the material used. And when people are ordering the item from you, always ask what color, material, font, etc. they would like to see as an option and give them the flexibility to customize that before you make it. That's a great way to expand your product mix versus making a bunch of samples in a bunch of different colors and getting yourself overloaded with inventory. So here is a market leader listing. They have this item in one color. It's an ivory teepee and they have a white pom-pom trim. Now, something I would consider doing if I was going up against this guy is offering other colors. So maybe a gray teepee with white pom-pom trim, maybe a white teepee with light pink pom-pom trim, and maybe a boy option, which is definitely an underserved area on Etsy. So maybe a gray teepee with navy blue pom-pom trim. Now let's take a look at this market leader listing, which is a checkered olive black camera strap. So much this shop can do to optimize their listings. I would love to help this shop out, but let's take a look at their options. So it is a one color option. They offer different sizes, but it's one color. So what I would do here is offer several color choices. There's so much this shop can do to optimize this listing, but this isn't a shop critique right now. We're simply looking at how we could compete with market leaders. So if I was competing against this shop, this is a very masculine looking camera strap. So I would offer maybe a light gray, maybe a taupe, maybe a blue or something that's a bit of a bolder color, maybe a black. So this ships from Greece, which tells me, wow, there is a huge opportunity for someone in the US to offer something like this. So the next way to compete on price is if I was competing with a big market leader shop who was doing print on demand. So with this, I would make an effort to start to integrate some of my own photos and video instead of filling my shop only with mock-ups. Now, I show you how to do this without hiring a photographer in my program. There are these 10 types of listing photos that I really recommend having, especially if you want to have a high conversion rate. So the problem with using mock-ups for every single photo is really that customers on Etsy really can't tell who they're shopping from. It creates the experience of, oh, I got this from Etsy versus, oh, I got this from XYZ shop. It ends up making the, Etsy search result page look kind of like one big storefront, kind of like Amazon versus specific branded shops. So by setting yourself apart and taking some of your own photos, or even consider making your own mock-ups, you can really set yourself apart in a way that no one can compete on because they can't take your photos. But if you take your own photos, then you own your photos. And this is a great way to compete on price. Now, if you are feeling like, oh, how am I supposed to buy all this inventory? What am I supposed to order a sample of every single shirt? I have 1,000 shirts. Are you kidding me? Calm down. We just need to get 1 or 2 samples in the most popular colors. And the way that we can showcase these in our photos is by simply perhaps showing the back of the item, maybe an up close picture of the texture of the fabric or the quality. Something that I think a shop did really well is this, where they are showing off this baby onesie and they are showing the fabric up close. They're showing the weight of the fabric. They're showing the texture, things like that. So if I was a print on demand shop, what I would do is have a couple samples in-house. I would have maybe 2 t-shirts, maybe a sweatshirt, maybe a onesie, depending on what your offering is, maybe a hoodie, maybe a crew neck, and get a couple pictures showing maybe the back of something, maybe some up-close pictures of the fabric, the texture, and definitely I would be doing videos with this sample. So you don't even need to show the exact design up close or anything. So you could technically take one video of one, Gildan sweatshirt and do it at a slight angle so that people aren't really seeing the design, but it's kind of an up-close video that's showing the texture of the item, kind of like this video with the onesie did. But I would do it from more of an angle so that you could repurpose this video across all of your Gildan sweatshirt listings. And that way you are really communicating the quality of that material. And remember, having a video is so important even with those print-on-demand shops. And the 5th way that I would compete with those big market leader shops is with my turnaround time. So this is where I would leverage a really wide range for my turnaround time in order to be more competitive. So let's say that the competition, their turnaround time, they're a big, huge shop, they're doing, 100 sales a day or something like that. And their turnaround time is 5 to 7 business days because they're making things in-house, they're shipping it, or maybe they're print-on-demand providers. That's the standard kind of turnaround time that they offer. So what I would do, even if my turnaround time was the same as theirs, I would offer a ship window of 1 business day to 7 business days. So even if my turnaround time is 5 to 7 business days, I would offer 1 to 7 business days. And hey, maybe you can get it to them sooner than the 7th business day. But really, Etsy is communicating to that buyer that you will ship by the 7th day. So in your order recap message and all the communication to that customer, they're seeing the latest possible ship date as the ship date. But in Etsy search results, if customers are choosing an arrival time by, let's say, 5 to 7 days later, they're seeing you as a possible option who could deliver in that time frame. So for example, I used to offer a turnaround time of 3 to 5 business days, and then I went to 5 to 7 business days. But after really testing this strategy and seeing how well it really works, I shifted my turnaround time to 3 to 10 business days. And right now I'm actually doing 1 to 10 business days for my turnaround time. Now I am still offering a rush order fee as an add-on and an upsell in this situation, because when customers come to my listings, they see the 10th business day, which is the latest possible ship date, as the actual ship date for them to expect. So they are oftentimes still willing to add on that rush order fee, which is a win-win for me. So I definitely recommend competing with your turnaround time, and not only with the perception of it, but get your actual turnaround time to also be shorter than theirs. So we always want to be exceeding expectations. So I promised that there was going to be a bonus way to compete with those market leaders, and that had to do with your listing photo. So what we're going to do is pack value into the listing photo. So this means, are your competitors showing one of the item in that listing photo? Then you need to show 3, 4, or 5. Even if your lowest price point in that listing is for quantity 1 of the item, they still have the option to buy multiple in that listing. So definitely show multiple of an item in the listing photo. It's packing value into the listing photo, and the combination of your photo and your price point in comparison to the competition's photo and their price point, you clearly look like the better value proposition. Another way to do this is, if you are a digital shop, really pack value into that listing photo. So with digital items, you need to offer more than the competition and call that out on the listing photo. So let's take a look at an example. So here we are. I just typed in bundle digital. I see some huge examples. Now this one here clearly says 5,000 ultimate SVG bundle, okay? This one to the right though, it is very hard to see what the value proposition is. If you look really close, it says you get 1 million planners, 50,000 stickers, 6 colors, okay? This is really hard to read, especially on digital. That would not be very legible. Now, they need to be really calling out the value of it with those numbers in a much more obvious way. So here, the ultimate digital planner, you can hardly read. I believe it says 80,000 something. Let's zoom in. Oh, 8,000 1,000 stickers, 480 planners, 160 templates, 100 plus covers. I wouldn't say that's value packed into the listing photo because it's not legible. It's only value if people can read it. Oh, look at this one, the complete nursing school bundle. Okay, it's popular now. It's an ad, but in here you can barely see, but it says 220 plus pages. All right, that needs to be plastered all over the listing photo. So when you are a digital shop competing against some of these market leaders where they're ranking on the first page of search, definitely make sure that you are calling out the value in your listing photo. And if they are offering a bundle of 1,000 files, you better offer 1,500 files or 2,000 files, okay? Always, always, always pack more value into your listing photo than they're packing into theirs. So if you are a shop and you are struggling to stand out from the competition and you need some one-on-one help, definitely reach out. Or if you were a market leader and you are finding that some of these little guys are sneaking up on you and you're wondering how to maintain your position in search, I am an expert at that. So definitely reach out to me. I'd love to help you with that as well. You can find me on Instagram at Dylan Jarvis. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video.